Hey, so we are going to go on to our next shape. We're going to do surface area today. We are only going to do surface area cylinders today, so this is the only video you have to watch. That means it's going to be a little bit longer too. We're going to take some time to actually talk about different pieces rather than just getting through it. So when you look at this shape, you should know what shape this is. It is a cylinder, good. That is wrong, so hold on one sec. Okay, thanks for waiting. So you're right, this is a cylinder. And that means that the shape of the base is a circle. So we're going to look at the shape and color all the things that we know. We know we need to shade the entire base yellow. So we're going to go ahead and shade the base yellow. We're going to outline the base blue. So go ahead and get your blue. Outline the base blue. Then we're going to outline the height of the entire shape red. Just like this. Okay, so right now, since we have a little bit longer to talk about this, since we're only doing one shape today, we can stop and think about this blue that I just highlighted around the circumference of this circle. That's like the perimeter of the circle. That's the same distance. If you look at it rolled up and not rolled up, this distance around here has to match up to this distance that I'm now highlighting in blue. Otherwise, it won't roll up correctly. You'll have extra material or less material. So notice that this also represents the perimeter of the base, as well as this circle representing the perimeter of the base. So I want us to look at the formula we use for any prism. And technically for cylinders they have a special formula, which we'll look at in a second. It's right here. But I want us to think about what this represents. And it's the same for triangular prisms and rectangular prisms. Our formula says we're going to take the perimeter of the base, which is what we highlighted in blue here, and multiply it by the height, which is what we highlighted in red here. Well, if I do this length times this width of this entire rectangle, that gets me the area of the rectangle here. So that means that this pH gets me the area of this lateral surface. That's the part where the label goes. It means everything except the base. Then we're adding to area of the bases. So if I just do big P times H, the perimeter of the base times the height, that just gets me the area of everything that is the lateral area, everything in the middle. And then I add on the area of the two bases. This is the formula for any prism because a prism has two bases, and then you have the area of the space shape in between. So that's why this formula works. Now if we look at the cylinder formula in particular, so the cylinder formula on your formula chart doesn't say pH plus 2 big P's. It says this one right here. Surface area equals 2 pi r times h plus 2 times pi r squared. And actually they're all just together. Looks like this on the formula chart. 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. But we know that when numbers are next to letters, it just means to multiply anyways, which is why I added the multiplication in there. This is the same as this formula because the perimeter of the base, well, this is a circle. To find the perimeter of a circle, it's the same as the circumference. 2 pi r is the formula to find circumference of circles. And then we have the h, which is the exact same, plus 2, that's the same as the other prism formulas, and then pi r squared. Well, pi r squared is how we find the area of circles. So these two formulas are saying the same thing, but the state of Texas gave you this version with those formulas already plugged in. That's very nice of them. So let's go ahead and plug in the numbers where they go. So if I look at this formula, I know I need to know 2 pi r h. Well, 2 is already 2. We're going to go ahead and actually leave this in terms of pi. So remember, we've been talking about what in terms of pi means. And y'all don't have to write this. But remember, when I tell you in terms of pi, that means I'm leaving pi in my answer. So I'm going to do that for this one, and then we'll get the actual answer without it. R. Okay, well, R stands for what? Radius. Good. So do I have the radius here? Hopefully you said no, because this is not my radius. This 6 represents the diameter of the circle. I need to know my radius. So we know that the radius is half the diameter, so you should be able to quickly figure out that that is 3. So my radius that I need to plug in is going to be 3. My height is what we colored red. That's the 14 yards. That's the distance in between the two bases, plus 2 pi r squared. So again, we're going to leave pi. 2 is already a number. For r, we will plug in 3 into the second power squared. So let's check that. 2 pi times 3, because we plugged in 3, it's the radius, times 14, that was our height, plus 2 times pi, r was 3, to the second power. So looking at this, following PEMDAS, what do I need to do first? I need to do my exponents first. So 3 squared, 3 to the second power should be 9. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and actually also do my 2 times 3. I want to leave pi here because we said in terms of pi, so I'm not going to touch pi, but I am going to do 2 times 3, which is 6. So when I rewrite this, I'm writing surface area equals 6, that's the 2 times 3, times our pi, we left it there, times 14, plus 2 pi, and then 3 times 3 got us 9. So looking at this, the next thing I want to do is finish off my multiplication. So that means I am going to multiply 6 times 14. Remember, I'm going to leave my pi there. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm also going to multiply 2 times 9. So if you work out 6 times 14, you get 84. Notice my pi is still there. If you work out 2 times 9, you get 18. Pi is still there. So I'm leaving this in terms of pi. I'm not plugging in 3.14 yet. So then, this is the part you're probably going to have questions on, and we're going to answer those when you come to me. We're going to go ahead and add. And you're like, hey, we can't add, they have pi's there. We can add 84 pi and 18 pi because they are the same terms. They're both in terms of pi, so we can just add 84 plus 18 to get 102. So this could be my answer if I were answering it in terms of pi. I would be done. My surface area would be 102 pi yards squared. So that would be it if this were my answer in terms of pi. So this answer here is already in terms of pi. We're done. But what if they don't ask you for in terms of pi? Well, then you need to plug in pi. And we know pi stands for, it's on your formula chart if you don't know. Good, 3.14. So I can finish this by multiplying 102 times 3.14. And if I multiplied that out, which you would do on your own on the side, you would get 320 and 28 hundredths yard squared. So if I don't want my answer in terms of pi, then my final answer would be 320.28, 320 and 28 hundredths yard. So this is how we find the surface area of cylinders. We made connections between the perimeter of the base and the distance here on the rectangle. We also made connections between what the cylinder formula here, 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared, how that represents the same as pH plus 2 big B's. They're the same thing, it's just they plugged in the formulas. We talked about how to combine like terms to get our answer in terms of pi. And we also talked about how to plug in pi to get our answer without pi in it, just not in terms of pi. So right now, if you didn't have time to finish these videos on triangular prism or rectangular prism, you can go back and look at them. Or if you just realized, hey, I probably need some extra help, you can go back and look at them. If you're done with all that, you feel comfortable, you feel like you understood this, you can go look at your homework for tonight. Or you may do think through math, but either way, you need to make sure you're not talking. Thank you for paying attention. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple of minutes or tomorrow to do some more stuff with cylinders. Yay!